So I want to, this week, talk to you about managing post-show. Right now, it's the beginning of November. The majority of people's bodybuilding seasons are done. And I think it's a really important message to get across. The post-show window is extremely important. It's also, in my opinion, the hardest part of prep. Even though it's not technically, a lot of people wouldn't class it as prep, it's the hardest part, because during prep, you have a goal. Every action you take, your cardio, your restricted nutrition, your training, everything is going towards that stage. But once you finish and you get off that stage, there's no more goal. But you can't go from 100 to 0 just like that. Your body will not thank you for it. Health implications, excessive body fat. You effectively have the ability post-show to make or break your coming off season. And trust me when I say it, I've done both. I've done both. When I started off, I wish I had someone like me or someone at all saying what I'm about to say, because I did my first show, ate like a complete arsehole for a week, ankles blew up, chronic water retention, blood pressure through the roof, went off certain foods, felt physically sick, absolutely the pits. I can't remember how much weight I put on, but it was, I think it was close to 20 pounds in a week. And that is not healthy. And it is also, although you'll have people go, oh, I'm full as fuck, bro, look at the gains. It's just water and you're just killing yourself. So the most important part, I think, approaching that post-show window is appreciating that this won't be easy. Very, very important part. The next thing I would say is accept that while you will try your best to be as good as possible, you will fuck up. I don't think I know any of my clients who have transitioned post-show and haven't had a little bit of extra food, off plan, haven't had an extra meal. I know myself, even if it's just things like fucking rice cakes or whatever I've got in the cupboard, there'll come a point where in those 2-3 days when, no matter what you eat, it will never be enough. You will just kind of find yourself at times overeating. And the important thing in that situation is, if you've got a coach, tell them. If you haven't got a coach, appreciate it's normal, but also don't compensate by trying to do more cardio or trying to restrict your nutrition further, because then all you're going to do is going to get in a vicious cycle. So accept that that's a probability. Like I said, I don't know any people who are perfect post-show. I'm sure there'll be guys out there who claim to be, but well done, you're a hero, that's great. Next point, in that post-show, and obviously this is fairly self-explanatory, but have a plan. If you've got a coach, they should sort that for you. You should know your direction. If you don't have a coach, then have a plan. And my best piece of advice would be, stick to your prep routine. So a big mistake people will make is, right, I'll have a lie-in and I'll get up and I'll, just kind of make my way through the day. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4, 5 days in, you don't know where you are, your body's all over the place, your food's gone out the window, your routine's gone out the window, you haven't done cardio, you tried to go to the gym and train like a bit of a pussy, you're not achieving anything. And while post-show is not the time to be a hero in the gym and, look at training like an animal, it's important to keep that routine. So I would encourage people to still get up at the same time, still keep cardio in. That doesn't need to be, as much cardio as you have been doing. If you've been doing an hour a day, half an hour a day, you're going to feel that will be a substantial improvement and a kind of a pleasant surprise, because 30 minutes compared to 60 minutes, you've halved your time on the treadmill, the cardio, the stepper, the bike, whatever. Stick to your meal plans and ultimately stick to your pre-comp meal plan. And what I would do with that is incorporate foods that you enjoy into that plan, but don't throw everything in at once. Because if you throw everything in at once and then you get to the point where you're still hungry, where do you go from there? Do you eat excessive amounts of food? Do you go down the shittier junk food route? A previous point I just mentioned, or a comment I made earlier, was no matter what, no matter if you eat 10,000 calories, 20,000 calories, you're going to be hungry. Post-show, you are a furnace. So remember that, and don't just kind of eat for the sake of it, because you'll never be full. You'll never be full, accept it. It's a tough one, and there is no magic pill. It's about remembering and reminding yourself of the discipline you're capable from prep and bringing that into the post-show period. Allow for off-plan meals. You know, post-show, yes, we want that strict routine or a fairly strict routine, but enjoy, you know, particularly from a social aspect. The chances are you've neglected your loved ones on prep. If you haven't, you either have no loved ones or you are, you know, an angel. But you owe them your time. So, you know, arrange meals out, enjoy meals out, be a normal human. But obviously don't do that 3 times a day. You know, if you're going to stick to your diet for all of the day and have 1 meal out, you can have 1 meal out a day. And that's probably not going to do you too much damage as long as you're not going out in that meal and binging. And that's something I know I've been guilty of, you know, just thinking like the world's going to run out of food, I need to eat everything. And as I've got more experience, food is always going to be there. Enjoy it for the flavour, enjoy it for the company. And I think meals out are a really good thing like that, because if you get takeout in, it's very easy to overorder, very easy to, you know, overconsume. And after a certain point, I think we'll all admit, you know, if you get yourself a Papa John's pizza, you probably have half of it and you really enjoy it. And after that, it loses its lust pretty quick. So food for thought, quite literally. Now, where am I in these extremely extensive notes? I think I've covered a lot of the most important aspects there. Training, post-show, so weight training this is now. Depending on how hard prep is, I would very much listen to your body on this one. I generally like to have 3 or 4 days post-show, unless I have more shows coming up, but I'm talking about the end of season in this video. I like to have 3 or 4 days completely off training. Like, no matter how you feel, you'll put more food in your body and you'll start feeling alive. You'll start feeling probably quite superhuman, but you're not. Your joints are still very, very kind of weak and dry. You know, the kind of risk of injury is definitely higher. Low body fat is not a state to be strong in. You know, look at any top powerlifter, any top strongman, they're not fucking shredded for a reason. So take anywhere up to a week off training, I would say. You know, mentally listen to yourself. If it gets to day 2 and you're like, oh, I really want to get in the gym, then fine, go in the gym. But in that first week especially, just do pump sessions. Chances are leading into your peak week, you were just doing pump work. Just carry that on. Just move some blood around, enjoy being back in the gym, enjoy that kind of feeling of more food in your system. But don't put yourself in a position where you injure yourself, because again, the potential to ruin your off season is there. We do not want that to happen. I think also post-show is the perfect time to plan and to get down to planning a new program for yourself or your coach too. I certainly do that with a lot of my clients. Get your feedback from the show and, you know, whatever weaknesses, whatever points that come back, structure them into your new training program and then pursue that. The benefit of a new training program is you have no previous sort of comparison in terms of strength and numbers. So what I always say to my guys and girls, when you're starting a new plan, the priority is execution and control for week 1. Set the foundation, don't over obsess over weight, get some basic foundation numbers, and then you can build from there. So obviously post-show is great, because if you have a week of pump work, a week of that, getting into the program, you then 2 weeks post-show, chances are you've put on, you know, a nice healthy amount of weight, you're feeling more energetic, your joints, your body is more recovered, and you can then start progressing training and going from there. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything. Post-show is a make or break time. Don't overestimate it. Don't, you know, overlook it. Please just take it seriously. At the end of the day, anyone watching this who is a bodybuilder who wants to be a successful, and when I say successful, I mean be the best version of yourself continuously. The bodybuilding season, prep never stops, okay? Post-show is just a different point in your prep, where if we look at sort of calories, you know, that's where we're at peak off season. We track down to prep and then it's a bell curve back up into off season, back into prep, etc., etc. There are no peaks and troughs where we just go like that. It's a continuous process with always the next goal in mind. How can we get there safely, efficiently, healthily and optimally? And I think post-show should not be kind of underestimated in that regard. So I hope that's useful, guys. If you think I've missed anything, probably have, because, you know, talking on camera and trying to get everything in can be hard. Let me know below. If you've got any questions, let me know below. And if you like the video, like it, comment, subscribe. Thank you very much.